Hey everyone, Corey here. I thought it would be kind of a fun idea to do a vlog for this episode for our patrons because this was one of the craziest episodes like we've ever made. In terms of the amount of prep and the script, the amount of help that we got making this was it's just insane to think about that it's like finally done. We've been planning on doing it a long time ago, but I don't think we were really prepared to do it because, we didn't have enough equipment. We needed the experience of doing the other RGB episodes. And it was always something we wanted to do because, every video we'd get somebody saying, why don't you just play on a CRT and forget about all this stuff. So I think it was a very important episode for us to do in terms of the entire scheme of the series. Like if we'd done it a while ago, I don't think we were ready. And, I'd been kind of getting different CRT TVs. Every time I go to Goodwill, I always check out what they had and, see if, I always check the model number to see if it was something notable. And much to the annoyance of my wife, I've built up kind of a little collection that I, was kind of saving specifically for this episode to be able to do it. So I thought it'd be fun to kind of show you all the different TVs that I used for this episode, because the amount of shots that we got in this episode, almost everything was off screen of a different CRT. I mean, I reused a lot of the same ones many times, but I think, it's just kind of crazy how many I have here. So let's go take a look and I'll show you what I have.
So this is what I like to call my set area. It's set up to do shots specifically like I did in this episode. I have all these systems going into this CRT right here. I have been known to play games here once in a while. As you can see, I have the Genesis running in all of its composite glory. It's just really convenient to have this here because I can set up shots however I want. This CRT has 2 composite, 1 S-video, and 1 component input. But what's cool is it actually has an AV out, which I then run across the room into this 27-inch Toshiba bubble screen. This one's definitely a bit softer, but I like the look of it. It's good for this episode because I needed a bubble screen to be able to show things with less defined scan lines, and it really served its purpose. And I kind of have a soft spot for it because it was the first CRT I got when I started getting ready for this episode. But its only real job at this point is just doing comparisons. Alright, so this is my main area. I kind of set up this space as a game room / edit suite. As you can see, I have all my game systems hooked up right here in either RGB or component, except for the GameCube. That one's just doing S-video all by itself. But all the RGB systems go into this Bandridge SCART switcher, actually 2 of them. The output from that goes to a SCART splitter, one which goes to the FrameMeister, and the other one goes to this PVM. This is a 13-inch PVM. It's really nice. It's fairly new, but a lot of PVMs have the ability to chain to other monitors with BNC out. So I have a BNC cable coming out of this all the way around the room and into the input on this PVM right here, my Sony 20L5. Man, I love this monitor. A friend of mine got it for me when they were throwing out all the monitors at his work. But backing up a second, I have all of my component systems going into this switcher right here, which actually has 2 outputs, one which goes to the FrameMeister, and the other one goes into my expansion card in this PVM as well. So I can do RGB and component on it. And this is pretty nice because this monitor does 480p. It actually does up to 1080i. But 480p looks crazy good on it. But wait, it gets a little bit more ridiculous from here. I mean, look at this over here. Does that look like component? Yep. So not only do I have component chained out back through this, I also have a BNC to SCART out, which goes into a SCART to component adapter, which then goes into this switcher right here. So I can actually run RGB to component and straight component in. It's pretty dumb. I mean, I have no idea what I was even thinking, but it's just nice being able to go from here all the way around to be able to get whatever shots I needed on different monitors. And I could do it with the best quality possible for each source. It's pretty silly, and it actually gets It actually gets just a little bit more ridiculous. I mean, I have a duplicate SNES hooked up to this just for composite, but I have the output of this switcher split. And one of those, yep, it kind of comes in here. Remember this? Yep. So let's hit the button on the remote. Yep. So I can actually have something coming from the other room all the way into here. So I have 4 different monitors I can grab at shots from component on any system, RGB on any system, everything except for that stupid GameCube. It's just hugely convenient because, you know, like as it gets late at night, I'm working on this and I need a shot, and it's right there. Look, it even outputs the component through the AV out, but it's in black and white.
So there aren't any CRTs here in my living room, and a lot of my consoles are missing, and it's kind of a mess. That's in part because I uprooted a lot of that to bring it up to my studio room, where I shot a lot of the material straight off of the screens of the CRTs. And also I'm planning to kind of rewire everything in here in the next day or two, I hope. So it was actually okay for me to kind of destroy this, because I'm going to fix it. I had to destroy it anyway to rewire it. Anyway, so normally each episode is one of us gathering almost all of the material, editing from start to finish. Corey edited this episode and got most of the video material, but this one was absolutely one of the most overwhelming episodes we've ever done, if not the most overwhelming. Certainly one of the hardest scripts to write. And there's just no way that he could have gotten it done in a reasonable amount of time and without burning himself out if we weren't kind of working on this together. So throughout this whole week, I've kind of been Corey's backup unit, gathering as much material, shooting off screen of the CRTs as much as I can. So all that stuff's upstairs. Let's go take a look at some of the stuff, some of the CRTs that I used for this episode. All right, here we go. This is upstairs. I sort of consider this my electronics museum. I know it's a mess right now. I'm planning to reorganize it in the near future. Most of it's stuff I got for free from work that would have been tossed out, including this Apex CRT TV. It's got a flat screen, and we used to use this for floor monitoring at work, and it just would have been thrown out, and I always kind of wanted to have it for myself, so now I do. It's the only SD TV I have here at home that has really distinct scan lines, so I used this a lot. And here's the big one, my HD CRT. You know, at one point, I thought I had the best TV in the world. And, you know, I recognized that it had its issues, but I didn't really understand what CRTs were doing. I liked CRTs, but I didn't understand why. And I didn't understand why they did such a good job with retro games. And you know, I haven't used this TV a lot in recent years, and now that I've looked at it again, honestly, now that this episode's done, I might try to sell it. And into the studio room. I brought a lot of stuff up here. Here is the Dreamcast with the Toro box that we used to get 480p via SCART to the FrameMeister, and this was the first time that I tested the VGA out of the Toro box with this monitor that I had doing a freelance project last year. It was sort of used as a prop, and I felt like I had a hard time communicating in video just how good this looks. I'd never seen Dreamcast on a computer monitor before. If I had owned one back in the day, I would have loved it, because I actually played a lot of my other systems through an S-Video to VGA converter box, which didn't look that good. But anyway, this is a very small 13 or 14 inch Toshiba. I got this from Goodwill for $10 not long ago. No particularly visible scan lines, but it is a very good picture. HD retrovision cables through NES RGB there, by the way. And over here is the good stuff, or at least the good stuff and probably the worst stuff, but I love the wood panel look. I've used a larger one that's actually kind of to the left there in a lot of episodes, just for that really warm, nostalgic look. Got a bit of noise in the RF signal here, but hey, it's all part of the look, I enjoy it. And here is the PVM. I have not had a lot of experience with PVMs until I got this less than a month ago, I think. And this is really all thanks to you, the patrons, for helping me afford to get this. And I already used it not only in this episode, but also in the high def NES episode. And it's going to be so useful moving forward. Really completes my RGB setup, and I'll show you in the future how I end up getting it integrated into my main living room setup. So thank you so much. Thanks for supporting us, and thanks for watching.